is December 3rd and it is already lunchtime. I've been working this morning on the computer pretty much exclusively, which isn't very exciting and isn't very interesting to watch. I'm just getting the Etsy listings ready for an update that I'm doing this evening. So they're just about done. I'm just uploading the last of the photos to one of the listing. I'm having problems uploading because I was also uploading yesterday's Vlogmas video at the same time, but that's finished now. I just need to wait for it to do its checks and such like, add the end screen for that, and then I can publish that video. So I'm just going to go in the kitchen now and make some lunch. John's split shift that he works Fridays are slightly different. The schools finish early on a Friday in Orkney, so he goes out a couple of hours earlier than he would normally in the week. So I need to do lunch a little bit earlier today, and we're having French toast that I'm making with some Orkney sourdough challah bread. I think I have. It's a local bread company, Orkney Sourdough Company. It's a few miles over the hill from here. The bread's gone a bit dry now, so I'm just going to make some French toast with it, or eggy bread, for lunch. And I'm not sure what I'm doing this afternoon yet. Probably relaxing a little bit with a bit of knitting. I really need to get Christmas knitting done, John's socks done. And I'm coming up to the heel soon, which will be daylight knitting with it being in black. Also, I'm itching to cast something on for myself, even though I have a load of things on the needles for myself anyway. I'd like to knit some Christmas socks, but all my sock knitting needles already have socks on them. So I need to finish, realistically I need to finish John's socks first. But I'm tempted to cast on a shawl designed by Helen Stewart called the Winter Wonder Shawl, and I have the yarn ready for that. In fact, it's knit with hand spun yarn, which is already made up, ready to go, called Snow Angels, the colourway. So I'm tempted to knit that, but I'm also tempted to cast on a design. I can't remember who the designer is, but the pattern is called the Cat Vent Sweater, which is an all over colourwork sweater with little cats' faces and hearts and such like on in stripes, and you use your Advent minis to make kind of bands of colour stripes through the front and back of the sweater, and the arms and sleeves and stuff are all knit plain. So I'm tempted with that, and using a yarn Advent calendar from a couple of years ago by Pixie Yarns, and that would look really nice, but the sweater's knitted in DK weight, so I would either have to change the gauge and knit a bigger size, which I don't mind doing. It means the cats would be smaller as well. It'd be more like a traditional Fair Isle style with the smaller designs as well in the bands. Or I could hold the yarn double with a mohair, but then I think you would lose the colourwork design in it. So I'm not sure what to do. Very tempted with the shawl though. But I've got to go make lunch now because my husband has to go to work in about 40 minutes. So I better get cracking with that. Otherwise he'll be rushing to finish his lunch. am just rummaging through yarn trying to decide what to use. Let me just lower you down a little bit. There we go. So the two patterns I was talking about, I will quickly show you on Ravelry. But the yarns I was wanting to use, I've got poly bags here, so I do apologise for the sound. But the Winter Wonder shawl, which if I look in my queue on Ravelry, I'm about to show it, so if you have issues, I have it in night mode, but just a little warning. My queue, I have the Winter Wonder shawl by Helen Stewart. I'm not sure if it'll focus. There we go. Is a lot of garter, and then these eyelets. This is a panel at the bottom, which you're supposed to do in a lace weight and fingering weight for the garter, but lace weight and have little beads on. But I don't want to use the beads, so I plan on using this hand spun yarn, which is a tencel mix. It's got a bit of shine in it, which is not going to show up on camera because the light is behind me. And instead of doing beads, I'm going to use another fingering weight yarn, which is this one, and it is called Dreek. It's by Old Maiden Ant Yarns, and it has silver sparkle. It has stellina in it, so I'll use the stellina in place of the beads. So I'm tempted to knit that, or I'm also tempted to knit the cat vent sweater. I'm not sure I'm going to go out of focus while I'm not looking at the camera here, but the cat vent sweater, there we go, which has got little cats and hearts and little diamonds and little patterns in, with, as you can see, the different colours that you would use for your advent. But it's a DQ it, and it's by Marna Gilligan, sorry. So that's another tempting one to do with my minis from Pixie Yarns, like I mentioned before. Or what I could do, just bear with me because this is losing focus. Should hold focus now. I've been rummaging and have a couple of ideas. I would like to knit myself a couple of hats. I'm tempted to knit a hat with these two balls of Gilead yarn. What is it with these ball bands on these cakes? Gilead yarn, which is really nice woolen spun squishy yarn, and there is a design on Ravelry again which has like a buffalo check effect. Let me just find that. I hesitate to use the word plaid, but a buffalo check design in it, which you might not be able to see very well. Come on, focus. You can kind of just see on there. Tempting, but I'm not sure. But whilst I was up there, I also found, as I went upstairs for yarn, is I have two skeins of pelt wool, Blaine pelt wool, which would also make a really nice hat, but that's more of a bulky weight as opposed to Gilead, which is a worsted weight. And then when I was looking for this hand spun, I wondered if I had some other hand spun that would make a good hat. And down here in one of my drawers, the drawers from Vlogtober, if you remember them, I have these two skeins of hand spun yarn in two different tones of red. One is quite a dark red with bits of black in it, and the other one is red with bits of green in it. I have just realised it's got green in it. Oh, hang on. I didn't see the green when I took it out the bag. When I looked at it through the bag, rather. I don't know. No, it's got green in it. Christmas yarn. I wonder if I could find a project to use this in. Because it's red with just little flecks of green in it. It's 168 yards. And it's maybe a worsted weight. various, obviously, because it's hand spun and a little bit of thick and thin going on there, but that's not a lot of yardage. I shall have to check on my Ravelry and see if there's anything I could use this for, because that would make a nice quick Christmas hang on, I have an idea, bear with me. Okay, I just added another pattern to my queue. It's been in my library for a while, but I thought it would make a nice hat to knit for myself too. Not so much of a wintry hat, well, yeah, not so much of a wintry hat, kind of like, you know, pull on in the garden, but something a little nicer, which has lace work in it. This one is called the Everglade by Woolly Wormhead. It calls for a DQ8, but the yardage on it is not massive. The yardage for that is 164 yards to 272 yards. Now, I'm assuming that's on the 18-inch head, and my head is not that small. But maybe I could use one of the skeins. Well, how much yardage is in the other one? The other one's got 140 yards. So maybe I could do the rib in the darker yarn and the main sort of part of the hat in the other one, because the other one is a lighter, so it will show up the lace work better than the darker one would anyway. Or do I just blend up some more fibre and make some more of the red and green? I don't think I'd be able to replicate it the same. It's so long since I made the yarn. I have a think about that. But that is a few of my options, and I just don't know what to do. So I'm going to just work on John's socks for this afternoon. He's gone out for his shift because we've just had lunch, and try to find something on the TV. Probably Vlogmas videos or a film. I'm not sure how I feel. Postage just been and brought my seed order. So I'm just checking them through. I thought I'd show you what I'd ordered this year. I've not ordered a lot, but I have some Komatsuna Japanese green, like pak choi, Thelma Sanders sweet potato winter squash, Galena cherry tomatoes, Primabella cherry tomatoes, tomatillos. What else we got? Purple climbing beans. That's Corsair Violet. That's probably not how it's pronounced, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Champion of England tall climbing peas, and then I bought some flower seeds as well. Those are the vegetable ones, which are on top of what we have left over from last year, and these are all from the Real Seed Company in Wales. So what else have we got? Poached eggplant, night scented stock. Oh, that's a vegetable. Straight necked summer squash. Lettuce leaf basil, so we've got some herbs here too. Dutch mammoth dill. Tall mixed coloured snapdragons. White seeded breadseed poppy. Some forget-me-nots. Mixed straw flower, which is helichrysum. Some cucumber seeds and some tri-coloured clary sage. So fair few flowers and herbs, not so many vegetables this year, but we do have quite a lot of seed left over, and of course we have saved some seed as well from our squash this year. So that's that one little worry out the way and done, before it gets to the point where whatever varieties we want are out of stock. Like last year, I couldn't get Galena, which I love Galena. I grew these in our small greenhouse and they did really well even in there, which is half shaded kind of when all the trees are in leaf. So I'm looking forward to see how these do in the big greenhouse, because I really like these. They're like a large-ish yellow cherry tomato. And they're quite nice. They're not too sweet, not too tart, so I can recommend those.